Hey everyone, Heavy here. Bitcoin and Ethereum test key support levels after a second straight day of selling. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust sees large drop in institutional fund inflows, and GameStop makes a historic run. Today we will be talking about cryptocurrency current events as well as stock market current events after our cold plunge. The temperature right now is 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Finally starting to see some more wintry weather, and the pool temperature is sitting right at 49 degrees. Crypto cold plunge! So nice. What do you think, Bob? Bob tells me he's getting a little bit concerned about Bitcoin these days, just in the short to medium term. The chart, as we'll look at in a few minutes, is not looking too great. That descending triangle pattern that I've been talking about is really starting to form. Those lower highs are continuing to notch themselves, unfortunately. A pretty bearish sign, especially in the near term. The one good news is Michael Snyder from MicroStrategy is holding basically a Bitcoin investor summit in the beginning of February to go over how his company buys Bitcoin and how other companies can put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. One of the reasons I mentioned the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and the drop in institutional inflows is because the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust was a way for companies to invest in Bitcoin without actually having to go through the SEC disclosures and all of the kind of red tape involved with putting something like that on a balance sheet. So Bitcoin is down about 17% in recent days, and the Grayscale Trust is down about 22%. So it's outpacing the drop in Bitcoin right now. Not a very good sign, because those institutional inflows are what really drove this recent rally up to 42,000. And so we're kind of depending on those whales to continue accumulating the coins if we want to see new price discovery. So we've now been in the water for a couple minutes. About time to do our underwater meditation, one of my favorite parts of the swim. Oh, man, I love the cold. I love the cold. I love the cold so much. It's so good for the body. So good for the body. Anti-inflammatory, good for the immune system, releases endorphins. Just a tremendous way to start the day. I'm telling you all, I'm imploring the viewers out there, please start cold plunging in the morning. It's one of the best things you can do, seriously. All right, so the clip is sitting at 6.5 minutes now, so about time to hop on out of the pool. But another successful cold plunge, notch that one in our belt. The 9th one in a row. Well, actually, it's more like the 50th or 60th one in a row, if you count all the ones that I didn't film, but it's the 9th one we got on film. So I think it's about time we go take a look at some news and charts. After that awesome and refreshing cold plunge, we'll first take a look at the chart of Bitcoin. This was where we were looking at it yesterday, the massive selling. Saw a slight rebound, but then of course, continued selling. Now we can see that we're really testing this support here. Support right at 30,000. It's currently sitting at 30,300. If we zoom out, it's touched that level a few other times lately, but it's sitting right at the bottom of its range. If it breaks down below this, then we could see a significant amount of selling from here. As I've been talking about over the last few days, the pattern continues. So if we see a bounce off of the support here at 30,000, then we could possibly come back up and then see maybe 33,000 or a little bit higher later. But it could potentially continue to bounce between these two levels until it comes to really the apex of the formation, which we see would occur sometime around the beginning of February. At this point, it's either going to break out or it's going to break down. And at this point, It almost looks like a breakdown would be more likely. Let's take a quick glance at the Ethereum chart too. So Ethereum's currently down 10% on the day. Again, yesterday when we were looking at it, it was sitting right here, moving sideways under that resistance, this newly formed resistance level. Came up, sold off. But this pattern right here looks extremely similar to this right here. You know, come up, come down, sideways movement, sell off, move up, sell off. So it came up, came down, sideways movement, come up, sell off. It's possible that we could see it reach support around this 1215, 1210 level, or just 1200. Really, the 1200 level could possibly act as support here. If it doesn't, then we could see it drop down to below 1100 like it did on the 22nd. So this is an important level to watch, the 1200 level. If it breaks below 1200, then we might see a move down to 1100, which could make for a good buying opportunity, because if we zoom out a little bit, it has been pretty disciplined about staying in this range. So if you're a momentum trader and you like to trade ranges like this, then this could present a good buying opportunity in the next few days. Lastly, we'll take a look at GameStop, because if you haven't heard what's going on yet, GameStop has seen a historic rise in price over the last 2 weeks. If we look back to where it all started on the 12th of January, we're sitting at about $19. Then we saw huge buying activity, and since then, the price, specifically over the last 3 days, 2 days really, since the 25th, the price has gone from $60 up to $250, reaching a height of $270 yesterday after hours. This is due to a number of things, none of which though are the actual fundamentals of the company. One such thing is the Reddit forum known as Wall Street Bets. So you have a lot of retail traders like myself, people with Robinhood accounts and individual brokerage accounts, buying up large volumes of GameStop. And then additionally, you have what's known as a gamma vortex. So effectively, if we look at the number of call options, 70,000 versus the number of put options that have been traded, this means that market makers or brokerages like Fidelity, E-Trade, Charles Schwab have to buy shares because they have written option contracts, and so they have to buy shares to cover those option contracts, which has led to further buying activity. When you combine the extreme buying activity from retail traders with the buying activity due to the gamma vortex from market makers, you get extreme price action, as we have seen here in the chart, with the stock up 600% in a matter of days. Also, it's important to mention the effect that Elon Musk's tweet yesterday afternoon had on the stock. It closed at $144 yesterday at the end of the day. We can see 8 minutes after the market closed, Elon Musk made a tweet about the GameStop stock, which sent it up an additional 60% from the close to $230. And this morning it's setting up to open at a price of $270. As I mentioned yesterday, it's extremely important to remember the greater fool's theory. And if you do decide to get into GameStop, you are counting on somebody else out there paying more for it than you did. Because I assume we all go into trades with the idea of selling it for more than we bought it for. And that does it for today's Cold Plunge every day until Bitcoin 50K. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, if you have any insights that I missed or you think I should share or talk about, please drop a comment below. I'd love to get the conversation started. And please subscribe and turn on post notifications so that way you know every time I post. I hope you all have a great day. Be safe out there as the markets are getting extremely volatile, and I'll see you tomorrow.